past number of months, we've been talking about, this is something, if you remember, you know well, we've been talking about changing our church name for a good bit of time. We've been getting input and feedback, and it's something that we wanted to make sure that we keep bringing regular updates on. 3 weeks ago at our members meeting, we had a meeting where we were able to describe in detail over 20 or 30 minutes of how we came to the name that we chose. And that's not something I can reproduce here, but I can say that if you're interested in getting that audio file, please just email info@sovgracechurch.com and we'll make sure you can get that. But in brief, we've wanted to change our name for a while, and in a sense that we wanted to, sovereign is a word that people don't necessarily grasp in our culture. It's hard to spell, I before E, except after C and in sovereign. And so one of the things that we thought to try to do is name our church after Jesus and focus on him, not a blessing from him, not his work, but him specifically. And there are 150 different titles for Jesus in the Bible. And honestly, they're great titles, but none of them really seem to make great names, like the Rose of Sharon Church, the Root of Jesse, the Light of Life, Manna from Heaven Church. You know, those kinds of things, honestly, they kind of sound like cults. And so we didn't necessarily want to do that. And so we decided instead of thinking of our name as like a label for all that we are, we decided to sort of come up with a name and fill it with meaning. Just like when you go to Walmart, you don't expect to buy walls. When you go to Kohl's, you're not buying briquettes. When you go to Target, you're not buying targets. When you go to Walgreens, the walls aren't all green. And over and over and over, right? And so the reason you know what is sold at those places is because you've gone there. And so what we wanted to do was consciously fix our minds on Jesus in whatever we do for a name. And so after a long process and the advisory committee's 100% approval, we've come to the decision to name the church Center Church and then have the tagline as Fixed on Jesus. And you can see that we have a verbal communication. Here's what we're about. We're fixed on Jesus. Simple to remember, easy. What are we about? We're fixed on Jesus. And also, in the negative space, you see a cross. And so, even if you don't have an idea of what we're about, you think, okay, well, there's a cross. That's something Christian, something Jesus. And so then they can visit our website, come to church, and find out what we're about. So now this transition is going to take time. We'll do our best to communicate as clearly and as well as we can. As we start to make the transition, it's going to take time. Websites are going to take time. Domain names are going to take time. Signs out front, all that kind of stuff is just going to take time. But we wanted to make sure that you knew where we were going and what we were doing and why. So again, if you're interested in getting the longer explanation, I just gave you Reader's Digest. If you want all of it, email the info@sovgracechurch.com address, and we will give you you'll get an audio file where you can listen to it if you want.